This is the Great State Mural, Mongolia Portrayed, our bi-weekly podcast that analyzes the current developments and deeper structures and joys of contemporary Mongolia. My name is Anu-Ujin. I'm a journalist based in Ulaanbaatar.
And I'm Dolgan Aldar. I'm a development and research professional currently based in Phnom Penh.
So this is another special bonus episode of the Great State Mural. Spring politics in Ulaanbaatar is here, with Parliament back in session. We also had resignations galore. Prime Minister Zanlıshatır and Speaker Ochul both resigning from their respective roles before April. But Ochul getting the better end of the deal as he steps into the role of the 35th Prime Minister of Mongolia on March 30th. On top of all this political hubbub, there's another scandal involving the former Justice Minister and current Mayor of Ulaanbaatar, Ulaanbaatar Hishke. Recently, it was revealed on March 20th that a Chinese company has been selected to construct a high-speed highway across Ulaanbaatar's largest river, the Tuul River. Many people have come out to protest the construction of this highway and have asked the mayor to make the feasibility study public and all the other relative documents also transparent and public. While Ulaanbaatar have pushed back on their criticisms, citing how the protesters aren't allowing him to do his job and don't care about traffic congestions. He even said, if you want to stop this road construction, you have to kill me. So let's get into it. And for this episode, we have a special guest, Anu-Ujin Lkhagvasuren, an urban governance expert, a civil engineer based in Ulaanbaatar. Anu-Ujin, can you briefly introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Hi, everybody, and thank you for inviting me to your podcast. My experience is mostly in the urban governance, urban development, and last 5 years, I have been working at the municipality and also with the World Bank, mostly on the urban transportation projects. And there have been more than 20 researches I have done on this field, including the economic opportunity loss of the traffic congestion in Ulaanbaatar, or we also have concluded that what level the traffic congestion is in Ulaanbaatar. So mostly all the current project, the current speculation and the problems around this project is totally my field and experience.
Okay, so our mayor, he has been arguing that basically we need to build this big highway to alleviate the traffic congestions. And why are people protesting against this project?
Okay, so the first thing is the reason that this whole project came up very strongly to the public attention is it's because of it's alone the only river in Ulaanbaatar city that's left, because the previous two small river has been already destroyed, and now we have only main river, the Tuul River, which is exactly that goes through the Ulaanbaatar city. So the public is very concerned about the safety of the river and also safety of their water resources, the main potable water resources, because this river has, along this river, especially in the Ulaanbaatar city, we have 3 big reservoirs around this river, which is the main water resource for the 1.7 million population of Ulaanbaatar citizens. And another big concern from our side, let's say the professionals who knows about the mega projects and also the highway project, this is we're talking about the insane amount on this project only. It's a 32-kilometer road, length road, but the whole project costs $1 billion USD. So currently we have been researching about how big is this amount of money, and then what kind of projects are also costing a similar amount. We have found that in Kyrgyzstan, we have a similar project, highway, 436 kilometers long, is currently ongoing build project in Kyrgyzstan. From Bishkek to other cities, connecting the capital city to other cities. This project has 6 big tunnels and 433 kilometers long. So this amount is this project whole cost is 960 million USD, which is similar to the project we're talking in Ulaanbaatar.
Even though the length is like almost at least 10 times more, right? But the cost is the same.
Yes. So
Wow.
This is very crazy amount. And the third thing is many people are very concerned about the other problems in Ulaanbaatar city. Like we had blackouts during this winter because our installed capacity of the energy resources are already way below than our current consumption. So we had these blackouts every day during the December and January. And we also have so many other problems around here. But just for the highway and only for the transportation projects, more than 24 mega projects. So we're not talking about one small project, we're talking about 24 mega projects. And we don't know how much are they gonna be. So the only 30-kilometer long road is going to cost a 1 billion USD. How much are they all gonna cost, right? So there's a metro project, street tram, light rail train projects, and also the whole road with big roundabout projects. So many projects are on part of this project. So are we in a situation to fund like 24 mega projects currently?
I get what you're coming at. I understand the point of where we're spending too much. One of my editors used to joke about how in Germany they would, if you want to build like a kilometer of road, they would spend like 80,000 euros, but that kind of a road would cost $1 million USD in Russia. So in that scale, but you do know that our city's congestion is probably one of the worst in all over the world. So in some regard, I feel like we do need to build some road capacity or like build more roads. So what would be the other option? And so so if we don't build this highway, what can we do? I remember one urban development expert talking about we need to build the city with grids. But I feel like that ship has already sailed. So isn't highway the next best option to decrease congestion?
And I think to add to that, is this project really essential at this moment in time? I think you already implied when you talked about energy crisis and all that, a bit of your response, but really to kind of lay out, is this the solution to our city's congestion issues?
Yes. So as a professional, I would love to say that one theory from the urbanization, urban theory, which says that
we love theories.
Yes, no traffic congestion has been solved by building a new road. So it's like we're looking at the flood, and then we're just giving the flood to a more big tank to pour in. We're actually calling for more traffic congestion. We have like more than 5,000 cities around the world. And I used to think that it was an advantage for us that Ulaanbaatar city is only just around like 100 years old in case of the infrastructure development, because all the other cities have like 500,000 years of histories. They have been there, done that, and then they have learned the case that, okay, we cannot solve this problem like traffic congestion by building a more road, especially not by building a highway. So it's a factual theory that has been backed up by many cases around the world. And another thing is, let's try to diagnose the main problem in Ulaanbaatar city from the traffic congestion side. We have like 1.7 million people, right? 1.7 million people, 700 is like elders and the children. So there's only 1 million people who are drivers who can drive the car. And they have registered 800,000 cars, including the buses, But the problem is we don't know how many of those registered cars, vehicles, I don't know when we started registering the vehicles. So we don't know how many of them are discarded already. We don't know how many of them are like, just corpse in someone's outside of the house. We don't know. So we calculated and then counted it up to 600,000. And then from this 600,000, only 300,000 vehicles are on the road daily. And now that mayor and the deputy mayor are trying to scare us, talking about the whole registration timeline number, like 800,000. Not everyone is on the road, right? So it doesn't make sense. They're talking about the very wrong data. And then another thing is, when we were doing the researches and studies, that we have only 300,000 daily passenger rides in the city. And then it's causing the traffic around the 2.5 kilometer radius of the central square. So what does it mean? It means from the left interchange to the right interchange, on the two other side of the Peace Avenue, we have the main traffic congestions. Every day in the morning, from all the two sides of the Ulaanbaatar city, people come to work in the city center. And then in the evening, it goes out. Like, let's think, I'm going to my work, but Tuul River is like almost 3-4 kilometers away from me. Why would I ever drive to Tuul River all the way to there? It's gonna be also congested, right? So I will be congested all the way to there, and then gonna drive like few minutes on the highway, and then I'll be on the other side of the city. So do I ever gonna use it? No. So the question I am trying to ask, but they never answer it, how did you calculate it? What kind of data you have worked on, and then made like 50% of traffic congestion is gonna be dissolved by building a toll highway? Because I really don't understand that kind of calculation, because I know all the data and then it doesn't make sense.
I think you touched upon a very important point about, first of all, the lack of transparency or the lack of availability of any of the feasibility studies or any of the socioeconomic impact assessments, environmental impact assessments, normal procedures that require before initiating such programs and big especially as they call it mega infrastructure projects, have been inaccessible or unavailable until today. And this is one of the reasons why there is a public outcry and public debate and protest against this initiative, because really, even if you just, what you mentioned, Anu, the selection of data itself, that the very starting point itself is questionable or wrong. So what do you think, how is it possible that the city mayor's office can immediately start bulldozing those bushes and completely start the infrastructure project without any of the studies? Secondly, without any public support. Why do you think he feels so confident and they are in such a rush to go ahead and really reluctant to even listen or to even have a dialogue or to pause? I think I seem to remember he literally said in one of his reels and videos, by the way, our city mayor in Ulaanbaatar is a very famous social media influencer himself. So in his one of the videos, he famously said, "You have to kill me first before this project stops." So why is that, in your opinion?
This is very interesting. At first, how on earth, the people who are driving and congested around the Peace Avenue gonna be, dissolved by the Tuul River because we do not drive around the toll. So I just wrote about saying like, how did you do this calculations? And then later saw there were so many errors. So the first time they have started this project from last year in 9th of July, which is the right before our Nada festival, where everyone's attention will be focused somewhere else, right? So they had these 5 clauses about building a construction around the Tuul River. They have introduced this as a riverside construction, and there were so many things along with it. And they just asked the government to sign on this without giving the main details. And one of this includes the project named Circle One. All the parliament members signed and approved this project, Circle One, not the Tuul River one. But now they're saying you have approved this project last year, and then why are you protesting? He's talking to the parliament members in this way. But they didn't approve the Tuul River project. They approved the Circle One. They didn't know the details. And then another thing is, right after the Nadan festival, they have already chosen the this company, China Highway Construction Company. So which doesn't make sense, because to do some project by the state budget or the municipality budget, it takes 30 days to just advertise it and then publicly inform everyone to call for the bidders. And then 30 days to work on the project, 45 days to wait for the denial from the other parties who have bid on this project. So the whole bidding process should at least take 2 months, but it was already approved in a week. Another thing is, that they are saying that most of the people are very concerned about how it's going to affect our environment in case of the river, in case of the, the animals and the ecosystem, right? But what they're saying is all the environmental impact assessment has been done, but the company should have paid some amount to the Ministry of Environment, but there is nothing paid and there is nothing approved. No environmental impact assessment has been found when we first talked about it. And then later, recently, yesterday, they have just sent some assessment to the water authority. So everything is a lie. So it is really hard to talk about the one thing, because all the things around this project is whole lie.
And I would like to remind our listeners about the origin of this Tuul River Highway, actually. I was digging a little bit of their previous websites, etc. And it's interesting that this Tuul River Highway, and along with the 23 other mega projects you mentioned earlier, it's part of the 2024 policy program of the ex-Prime Minister, or now ex-Prime Minister, Oh Young-il's coalition government. So both the Hum Party, Democratic Party, and the others have remained largely silent on the issue. They haven't really taken the side of the protesters or the experts to ask questions. For quite a while, at least a week, Democratic Party has been silent. Now they're active, it seems. So this issue of being in a coalition party. And secondly, you just mentioned now a very important issue that we've been facing in Mongolia since COVID time, the normalization of the urgent procedures to pass any laws, any projects. And under this, in Mongolian we call it Yarltaqarım. So under these urgent procedures, the normal length, normal debate, checking, consultation doesn't apply. So they just pass it really, really fast without anyone's consultation. And both Oh Young-il and his cabinet, also like the current Prime Minister of Chirel, Ulaanbaatar, who's the city mayor, they're all expert now in this urgent procedures. Yeah. So they did that. And what is shocking to me is that it's not just this one project, Tuul River, highway project, they actually have included 577 programs over 4 years, and they called it Courage for Rapid Development. So this whole scheme of like lack of consultation, urgent and huge inflated amounts for these mega projects are called Courage. And I remember feeling really angry about it. And Oyung in his speech even quoted our democracy leaders, early leaders, Derek, meaning courage, his quotes in his attempt to normalize this kind of potential corruption issues. So I would like your opinion, and also, Anand, what do you think about these poorly developed projects, weak oversight, and huge large-scale procurement processes involving companies in like Vietnam and even in Cambodia? We discussed in our earlier episode that in one of the energy power plant, Cambodia-based company was selected. And this Chinese company, few people have been digging about their background and nothing's really coming up that they're an eligible company. So all this, what in your opinion, does it tell us about the governance issue in addition to the technical and environmental you just mentioned? And I know you are an active participant or a leader in this Tuul River Safe Toll movement. So both of you are now in Ulaanbaatar. So can you tell us more about what's going on right now?
Well, one thing I do see is that these leaders, they want to get things done, but maybe in the past, I feel like they don't really understand the democratic process. That's what I see regarding what they're doing. It's good that they're trying to do something, but again, they're doing it the wrong way. They're not looking at the whole picture. I worked with CNN in 2023 with Richard Quest, and we were stuck in traffic for like almost like 2 hours, and he was so frustrated. And I was just telling him, I was just joking around, telling him that this is Ulaanbaatar. This is how things are basically. He saw this as this shouldn't be an issue of us having this kind of traffic with so few people, and he basically said this is institutional incompetency, which I agree a lot, but also it kind of paints a picture of who we are as people, like what kind of leaderships we kind of chose. And I'm also seeing that for Ulaanbaatar, he thinks that he has the solution to do things. And then we do have a congestion crisis, a traffic crisis in the city, and we have not been able to solve this for like almost 30 years or so, where, well, maybe 20 years or so, where things have gotten real bad. And then some people on Facebook, they don't see the protesters or what they're demanding isn't right. All of the protesters have said that, yes, they would like to see progress. They would like to see some kind of infrastructural development, but the mayor is going at the wrong pace. And do you agree with that notion that we just have to get things done at whatever the cost, and an option is better than no option, basically?
Yeah, I think you're very optimistic and bright about the whole issue. For me, I see it is more like you know, I thought that we didn't have it, but now I see that, or just we didn't see it, but it was already here, which is China's Belt and Road project, as you may all know it, right? So China has economically, financially, debt-trapped, colonized that whole Africa in this time, very smart way. So there are so many similar things happened in African countries, and now we can talk about Sri Lanka. So, the Sri Lanka, how they lost their airport by like almost 100 years, right? So I thought that it was happening only in Africa and other countries, but I didn't know that it was in Mongolia. And now I see that it is already was happening in Mongolia. And then I felt like also kind of the bit scared, of course, because there are so many threats against me ongoing. But it is, I think it's not only our mayor who just learned to do things by force, or it's not only the our ruling party. It is bigger problem, I think. Actually, in 2021, when most of the researches have been done, studies have been done, we have concluded and recommended around 94 projects to the municipality to do. One of them, the biggest of them, was a light rail train. And then we concluded that the metro is too expensive and too large for Mongolia, especially Ulaanbaatar city, because one line, the heavy rail train, requires like 100,000 people to transport. So by our study, we concluded that if we build a heavy rail train like subway, metro, we cannot cover our operation costs. This was the biggest project. And then we also recommended many other small projects to decrease the uh, passengers number, like rides, This is the main thing. Like in a urbanization theory, you do not have to fight with the symptom, right? You have to solve the source of the issue. The source of the issue is a need to people to go to other place by car. So we have recommended 94 solutions to decrease the need to drive a car, like using a public transportation or like having a work and home close to each other. Or there are so many other things we introduced, like bicycling or cycling roads and things like that. But they are not politically sexy enough. So they didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole new mayor came up with the metro project, and then also light rail train project, and also the BRT and cable train, and all the other mass transit projects
Mm-hmm.
are started suddenly altogether with many big highway projects, and there are so many things ongoing. So now, if we look at that, it is not about decreasing the congestion. It is not about, giving providing the quality of life to the citizens. It is just about very big money. But what I can do is I can fight until halting the Tuul River Highway project. If I can do that, if we can do that, there's many people also doing the same thing. If we can do that, we're going to let them know that we also, the Ulaanbaatar citizens, Mongolians, are not just thief or blind people who just can be bullying and then, like doing anything they can do. We're trying to just show
Mm-hmm.
that, but the whole problem is very big for me from what I see.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about a very big amount. So I was telling you that we do not know uh, how much it's going to cost the whole the sky circle line, which is going to go around the Ulaanbaatar city. But
Mm-hmm.
only one fourth of this project is Tuul River Highway, going to cost 1 billion. So at least the whole highway going to cost 4 billion USD. Are we in
Oh.
America, right? Like even America, like Orlando Highway costed less than this. So if we let this one small project to start in a crazy amount, then there will be the others gonna be lining up. Now today he just opened the bidding for this whole circle project because
Mm-hmm. He's
that
not
he cannot.
stopping. He's actually really moving
Yes,
forward with
yes,
this,
yes. He's
with the whole
forcing,
concept.
forcing a whole. He's doing all in like on this.
Mm-hmm.
So we asked it how much the whole circle gonna be, but they don't answer because it's gonna be very big amount. And then what they're gonna say is, if we only, like let build the toll highway River Highway project, and then ask, okay, where the traffic congestion reduction, right? But they're gonna say, oh, it's not only this road, like whole circle should reduce it.
Just a heads up to our listeners, please consider subscribing to the podcast to stay up to date on new episodes. Please rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening on. It makes the podcast easier to find for others. We would like to improve the production, the quality of the podcast, so please support us at buymecoffee.com/GreatStateMural to contribute to that aspiration. Apart from your podcast app, you can find more information about us, how to support, how to comment, and more information on other episodes at agulamedia.com/podcast. Now back to the show. I disagree with the notion of the China's death trap being a huge problem. I feel like that is their loans, their infrastructural loans, infrastructural aids are very much in similar vein as the IMF or the World Bank. Yes, China has some shady practices, but they're not interfering with any of the projects that we're doing, and we should be the ones who be more transparent. And it's not dissimilar to what the West has done in the past. My question would be, how do we get to this point? Where did we go wrong? What could have our leaders have done in the past to have solved the issue that we are facing now? And then we're at a breaking point where, again, as I said before, the bad option seems to be the only good option at the moment, and that is what some people believe. And I totally agree with what you and the protesters are saying. But again, there is an argument where it is end times, and what should have our leaders have done in the past to get to this point?
Part of the whole problem is actually the development problem. We didn't plan our city since we started living ourselves, like, let's say, the post Soviet time. Well, in case of like 1990, right? So we didn't have any plan to develop our city. We just started living. And then we started building the apartments, houses, residential areas without the road.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So in urbanization theory, to build a city, first thing is you should find a place with water. So I'll talk about it later. And then the second thing is you should draw the road first. You should draw the road, and then even the road has a capacity. So like, okay, let's say we're going to build 1,000 units residence here. And then there should be a road for 1,000 cars. That is the urban theory to build a city. But as you all know, like you both know, that we never built a road before. We build the buildings, just construction companies. They have like, now it's like 16 stories. Some are like 19 stories. Before that, it was like 10, 12 stories buildings, like 1,000 unit residences just built on the road. They never talk about how much cars it will be on the road. So the whole problem started with our rapid development without planning, without any, the regulations or planning or any rules.
I would like to add to this. You were describing about Ulaanbaatar's approach. He's scaring, he's forcing himself, he's moving ahead. He even went to the point to organize his own protest. He mobilized a local unit administrators and local officers to have a protest which apparently, according to legal professionals, it's even illegal. So he's really going for it. And to me, this is not something new that I'm saying the first time. I remember, like, I was born and raised in Mongolia, in Ulaanbaatar. And when in early transition 1990s, it was okay, but early 2000s, we started seeing our public spaces taken by some companies, which is backed by government officials, powerful people, and their approach is exactly the same. They would be just, first of all, start digging. No need to ask questions. Come at night, start digging. There will be some protests, the residents will come out, and they know eventually this protest will fade away, and everyone's busy with their lives. So they know this protest will not go anywhere. And if people have complaints, legal procedures, those officials have connections everywhere, so they will do everything to slow down any complaints to be taken further. So this is how we do have regulations. We do have loads of nice development plans and agendas. The reason why none of them are followed, like you said, Anos, this approach that they don't really care about protests. They don't. So that's why I think now the people have trust deficit. There's a huge lack of trust in government, first of all, especially just after following the whole coal theft problem, the green bus scandal. Everybody knows what is government doing, these urgent procedures, huge numbers of state secrets, all these contracts, everything. And I was just checking the Open Society Foundation analysis on this mega project. Many of the criteria for normally documents that should be public, none of them are publicly available. So, of course, people will ask questions. And regarding the Chinese influence and the Western propaganda that Anand mentioned, I think you're right to question that. But also we have to remember that this is following the huge coal theft, which also involved the side from China. So it's not coming.
China exposed that coal theft. We should remember that part also.
Yes, but people don't know that. We're talking about why people are asking and questioning those things. So I feel like they see this as part of the problem. And I think also we have very clear examples. Selp River, which is another gorgeous river that goes through north to south in Ulaanbaatar. It has been just recently completely, I don't know how you call destroy. You can't destroy a river. What's the word? I don't know. So you see that, and of course people will not believe that he will, especially in Ulaanbaatar, who is displaying all these classical characteristics of a dictatorship regime and a dictator, is going to deliver, even if we go ahead with this project. So I think it's a huge trust in governance problem we are facing right now. And just to finish off my comment, I think this time Mongolians and Ulaanbaatar citizens are not as naive as the early 2000s. Now we have social media, we have means, we understand things, we have experts like Anu and environmental experts, governance experts, economists everywhere, who also support and back up this movement, which is great. I see experts really vocal and really at least starting dialogues. And finally, the opposition party has joined. So I really hope that this project will end, and this, on the one hand, and on the other hand, this dictator-like leader will follow the suit of what happens when the leader doesn't listen to the people, like in the case of Oyungerten. Maybe the same fate is waiting for you. And I just saw that petition against him, and maybe you guys can update our listeners. Do you think he might resign? He might have to be taken out of office soon, or do you think he will continue as the key vehicle of NPP for its financial machine?
Yeah, before you answer that, I would like to add to Erdogan's point of, yes, there's like so many constructions that happened during the 2000s, and I remember seeing some of them and thinking, oh, this is how our city develops, like with large buildings. But now I see these large buildings are not a sign of development. And just a few years ago, right next to our former apartment, there used to be like an old foundation for a kindergarten that stood since the 90s, and then a lot of the people who lived in our apartments came out to the foundation for the kindergarten went to this big company called Narang, and then they try to build like a large. They're going ahead and building this large building now, and then the residents, my wife, all of them took out and protested. They've done so much things. They've went to legal. They went to the courts. They fought hard. But one thing they found out is that the legal system is not designed for protecting ordinary people's right to third spaces, or like spaces for us, and it's mainly designed for the people who are building. So, and their tactic was that they would do things. They would just build. They would just not nonstop build, and then try to stall. And if things are built, it's very hard to stop it. Yes. And then we also found out that Mongolia does not have like a demolition companies that can destroy buildings that are illegally built. And we know a big case about the construction of a corrupt district that we talked about that was built along the river of I think it's the Tuul or Donghol, and I remember the lawyers speaking like, go ahead, go to the courts. And he was so brazen about it. And I feel like he knew that we couldn't do anything. Like a lot of people protested, and now the construction is up. So like, okay, now, but do you see that things are shifting? And again, to ask what Erdogan asked, do you think Ulaanbaatar is going to resign?
So same, but I think it's a very common way for, I think it's called like stripping people of purpose and goal, maybe like that, because currently for the Tuul River project, we're trying to save the bushes and the whole river valley, but now they're destroying it. And then we're trying to save the river. When we say we are trying to save the river, they say like, oh, the river is already destroyed, like it was dying. Like, why didn't you protect before? Like, right? So they're trying to, kill what we're trying to protect, so that they think maybe if it's done, like it's gone, then we have nothing to fight for. That's what they're waiting for, and then that's why they are, the push forcing everything and then starting. And it's a very common way for our Mongolians to do a job, right? But I think it's something that we have to stop somewhere, because also you say that legal system we're talking about, if there's not enough legal system to fight with it in Mongolia, we can also fight internationally. Like now we're thinking of, I was telling the Safe Toll team that we could talk to United Nations environmental program teams, like, or we could talk to GCF, or because we already had a loan from GCF to be like developed sustainably, right? We could talk to GCF, we could talk to like all the other environmental protection agencies around the world, or maybe we could ask the GIZ, or we're thinking about going now international. So we're trying to do it in a bigger, more legally and also more logical way. But also, one thing I'm really excited about the Tuul River project protest is that first time I am seeing that the strategical, I don't know how to say it, like attorneys or strategical legal team on this project. They are doing it pro bono. They're doing it out of themselves. Like they have started, there are people talking about it. So I'm really happy that like our national parks and also here on the Tuul River project, there are many professionals that are coming out. There are also legal professionals like attorneys are coming out on this project. So we're happy. Yes, yes, we're happy to see these cases because it can be if we win it, it's gonna set this standard for others to do it right way, right? And it's gonna give the hope to the people who have lost their spirit already. So this is another reason that we cannot stop. And then another thing is that all the things around this project is whole lie, and then many environmental professionals whose name have been cited on the environmental impact assessment, they say they didn't do it, right? They say that they have been forged my signature. My name is on here, but I never worked on it. So everything is becoming a lie, and then we should stop it as soon as possible.
But do you think Ulaanbaatar is going to resign, though? I feel like there's a lot of pressure. As you said, there's a lot of solidarity. Do you think he's going to resign?
And 30,000 signatures.
Looks like he's backed up by ruling party parliament members, because that's why he's, so boldly like, come out and fight with me one by one. Let's see. He called out all the parliament members, right? But I'm also hoping they are the ones, it seems like they are the ones who are waiting for the public to become strong and take him down, like we did on our PM. So if we can become strong publicly, then they will be the one to support us. That's what I'm thinking. It's my own thinker, right? But from my perceivance, it looks like all those there are people who are backing him up, but they looks like they have this, like debted relationships, like blackmailed or debted. I don't know. Looks like that. Not the originally authentically supporting him, but they cannot fight against him. So because is our mayor was a former minister of judiciary, was it? Is it right? So
Minister of Justice.
Yes. Yeah, so he has like he can like dig in information or like dig in anything on you, right? So he's famous in the politics. He's famous by being the blackmailer, and I'm hoping that if we can become strong, and then fight against him, and then even the parliament will support us, because that's what they should do, right? Legally. Yeah.
So what's your Mirgin take, Anand, as we come to the conclusion of this episode?
My Mirgin take is what you said earlier, is that people are becoming more aware of a lot of the issues. They're becoming more conscious of the issues, and then that people have power in large groups in our communities. And then I feel like previously maybe we felt powerless to fight against the system, but now I feel like a lot of people see that we do have power to fight against the system. That is my Mirgin take.
What about yours, Anu? And briefly, what's your last American take from this episode?
Yeah, I just think that we cannot give up now. We have to win somehow. We have to halt this project. That is my first and original intention. And I hope that people will see the truth and, people will understand it.
Great. So my American take is that I really liked what you said earlier, Anu, about this case will set the precedence for the future similar cases. So I really hope that the Save Toll movement and the broader coalition everywhere, the professionals and even professional associations will come together and fully support your ideas to stop this, so that the dictator-like mayor Ulaanbaatar resigns and and hope that he will not run for presidential election next year, I hope. And third, so that we can now look at these legal loopholes and start demanding clear changes in the legal system. Okay, I'm giving my wish list now. And for me, eventually, it's really, even though it's a really hard topic, really everybody was feeling angry, anxious, stressed, all the negative emotions we've been feeling in the last few weeks just because of this project. I would like to end in a very positive note that we discussed somehow about people's power, solidarity, and I see really different disciplines, people from multidisciplines coming together from, as you say, legal, environmental, urban development, social, every disciplines, of course, including people's movement as well. So I really hope this will be our moment. And I support you from distance. I donated some money to the Save Toll movement also. That's the best I could do. But we'll keep supporting you. And hopefully in a month time or a few months time, we'll do a recap of this episode and talk about what happened and celebrate the victory.
Thank you for being with us, Anu.
Thank you so much. I think I had a tea by your money.
And with that, this is Anand signing off. We'll see you guys next time.